22-year-old was last seen on Saturday, August 29th. Now, today, the Longhorn Hotel and Casino are releasing this video right here. It may be the last recording of her before she died. This is from the 29th, right around 1:30 in the morning.
It was supposed to be just another night in Vegas. Drinks, laughs, maybe a little luck at the tables. But for 22-year-old nursing student Lesley Palacios, this date would be her last. By sunrise, she would vanish without a trace, and the man sitting across from her, smiling over tequila shots, would be the only one who knew the truth.
The 22-year-old was reported missing August 29th. Today, investigators discovered her body near Valley of Fire.
Welcome to Quid. Here we share solved and unsolved cases. We hope that by sharing these stories, we all become more aware of the types of crimes that happen around us. And by doing so, we become smarter at detecting and hopefully preventing similar crimes. Let's get started. At exactly 11:47 p.m., Longhorn Casino, Whitney, Nevada. The summer heat clung to the air like a bad omen. Lesley Palacios, bright, ambitious, just months from graduating as a nurse, walked into the dim glow of the Longhorn Casino with Eric Ibarra, a 25-year-old whose intentions were unclear. The Longhorn Casino area, once called East Las Vegas, was built in 1989 and catered to visitors and locals alike, seeking fun and gambling in a more low-key atmosphere. Lesley had been looking forward to a night of fun, something to take her mind off the stress of her nursing program and the weight of expectations. But even then, something seemed off. She couldn't quite place it, but Eric was a little too eager, a little too pushy about staying out longer than she had planned. Security cameras caught them laughing, leaning in close at the Chuckwagon restaurant. Two drinks, then three. But neither seemed wasted, just two young people enjoying a Friday night. They talked about her future plans, her hopes of becoming a nurse, and the dreams that kept her up late at night. Eric, however, didn't talk much about himself. His answers were vague, his thoughts hard to read. Then, at 1:30 a.m., they walked out. Lesley carried leftovers. Eric, no mask. A mistake that would later make him the last face seen with her, therefore making him the prime suspect. At exactly 2:15 a.m., the couple is seen entering another fun location, Putter's Bar and Grill, about 20 minutes after leaving the Longhorn Casino. They should have gone home, but the night wasn't over. They went ahead to have more drinks, more shots. The bartenders barely noticed them leave. So, no one can really tell the exact time they left Putter's Bar and Grill. Their final stop would be at Bourbon Street Sports Bar. There, the two would be seen taking shots of tequila and drinking beer. They were seen laughing together in a fun and frenzy mood, because after this, Lesley Palacios was never seen alive again. Eric claims they went back to his place, that she left safely. But detectives noticed something off. His story didn't add up, and then the evidence started talking. Because when police finally searched Eric's truck, what they found would change everything. Think about it. How many times have you gone out for just one more drink? How many times have you trusted someone you thought you knew? The truth? Lesley never made it home, and the man sitting beside her all night knew exactly why. The two got home just before sunrise as they were seen pulling into the street in front of the place Eric lived around 5:30 a.m. Lesley was showing the effects of heavy drinking, and now Eric had to help her from the car. She had a lot of trouble walking, and Eric helped her into the house. The two still seemed to be getting along. Inside the house, Eric took her up to his bedroom. The home was owned by Eric's father, Jose Ronel, and his mother. His younger sister lived there as well. Jose had plans to take his wife to an event at their church that morning, but he was not fully up and active at this point. No one really saw the couple come in, and then something went terribly wrong. The two ended up in bed. Lesley never knew that this man, whom she had trusted for a night out, would turn into the face of her final moments.
My mom and Pirelli come back, and my mom is just crying.
By Saturday afternoon, Lesley's family had become worried because she never came home from her date. Her mother, Ibarra Palacios, and her sister, Nelly Palacios, contacted the Las Vegas Metro Police Department and told them that Lesley had not come home from her date the night before. They said they'd been trying all morning to call her and text her, but there had been no responses. The last communication her sister received from Lesley had been a text from her phone number that simply said, "I need to tell you something." Ibarra's reply of "What happened?" was never answered. Then, the Metro Police Department did something that police departments and law enforcement agencies across the country are quickly phasing out. They told them they needed to wait 24 hours before declaring her missing. In the past, the 24-hour waiting period was a rule of thumb, widely followed in the days before people carried cell phones or even had access to landline phones in every home. The one-day wait rule would give people a chance to wander back home after either finding roadside assistance, getting over an argument, or whatever had taken them away from their home in the first place. Over time, the law enforcement community realized that the policy wasted vital hours in the search for actual missing persons, oftentimes with tragic results. As cell phone use grew and ease of contact and communications grew with it, the idea that a person's family and friends would be the best to judge whether the person was actually missing won out over the manpower and budgetary concerns of the old policy. Yet in this case, the Palacios family was asked to wait, and so they did, but not without trying to get in touch with Jose Ronel by phone to check and see if he knew what the couple had gotten into. He never answered. The family then tried to call Eric's sister, but again, no answer. They even went down to Ronel's home, but no one came to the door to answer it. They returned to the home an hour later, they said, and saw Eric's mom and sister loading some furniture into the back of a truck, but were unable to talk to them. The following day, with Lesley still missing and not replying to any communication attempts, they again contacted the police, this time opening a missing persons case. They informed investigators on what they knew about who she had gone out with and what little they knew of their plans. Somewhere in the department, at another desk on August 31st, members of the Metro Police Department were taking another missing persons report, this time for two men, a father and son, Jose Ronel and his son Eric Ibarra. It took until September 1st for the officers with the Missing Persons Department to match the two cases, especially with the Palacios family naming Eric as Lesley's date. A BOLO, or Be on the Lookout report, went out. officers headed to the homes of the Palacios family and the Ronald homes that were only a few blocks apart. The families had known each other for almost 15 years. Canvassing the area around the Ronald home on Tipper Avenue, officers were able to identify a security camera that would have looked down on the family's property. They were quickly able to obtain access to the videos taken by that camera and rewound the video until they had unmistakable proof that something terrible had happened.
According to prosecutors, this video shows Palacio being helped out of a truck right there on the far right of your screen by the main suspect, Eric Ibarra. Well, moments later, he then helps her into the house. This all happening just after 6 in the morning. Then in this clip, just about an hour and a half later, prosecutors say that Palacio is being dragged to that truck now by Ibarra and also his father, Jose Ibarra. We have blurred the image here because it is just so graphic.
What had been 2 missing persons cases quickly became one case for the Metro Police Department's Homicide Division. A video from the morning of August 29th shows 25-year-old Eric Ronell helping 22-year-old Lesley Palacios, seen here alive, get out of his truck and into the house. An hour later, in a video we've blurred due to its graphic nature, the same camera catches Ronell Ibarra and another man, who prosecutors believe is his father, 46-year-old Jose Ronell, dragging a lifeless body from the home and into that same truck. Minutes after the truck drives off, leaving Ronell hosing off the walkway, both Jose and Eric are missing. Their family left behind has no idea where they are, but officers now know that the Ronell home is a crime scene. Warrants were obtained. Officers and forensic team members went through the home to find what would be described later as an attempt to clean up the place, perhaps unwittingly attempting to remove the evidence of a murder. As alert bulletins went out immediately, with descriptions of the 2 men and of Ronell's pickup truck, including the license plate number, investigators went room to room in the small 2-story home, documenting the evidence still there. On the living room couch, a pair of blue latex gloves were found, another set, and numerous cleaning supplies were also found in the adjacent dining room area. Inside a mop bucket in the kitchen was a stained cleaning cloth, and the mop head showed signs of a dark substance as well. As investigators combed through the Ronell home, arrest warrants were sworn out on Eric and Jose. Local media outlets flashed up the announcements alerting the public to be on the lookout for the 2 men, showing photos of both and including images of how they would look in surgical masks that nearly everyone was wearing at the time during that phase of the pandemic. The warnings came out too late to catch Eric and Jose, though the notices did catch the attention of a friend of Eric's. The man explained that he had known Eric for about 5 or 6 years, and the last time he had seen him in person was weeks before. Eric had come into a restaurant where the man was eating, and Eric was obviously very intoxicated. He sat down and asked the man if they were friends, and would he do him a favor in the future if Eric asked him to. The man said it was an awkward request, and that he had humored Eric, obviously because he was drunk. Eric left, and the man didn't think about it again until the morning of Saturday the 29th. The man said he got a call from a telephone number he did not recognize. When he answered it, it was Eric, and Eric immediately reminded him that he promised he would do him a favor. He was calling in that favor. Eric said that he needed to bring him some gasoline, and he couldn't find any himself because he didn't want to be seen anywhere on camera. The man asked him why, and Eric told him, according to his testimony before a grand jury, that Eric claimed he was in Utah, some 125 miles north of Las Vegas. The request was crazy, and it didn't make sense. Why did he need someone to bring him gas from so far away? And why was he using a different phone than his usual one? Eric, who was obviously stressed out, told him he was on a burner phone. Eric then said the words that would turn the missing person cases and the strange occurrences into the worst possible situation. "I'm for real. I killed an expletive," Eric told him. He then repeated it when his friend said that he didn't believe him. "I'm serious. She's dead in the backseat of my truck right now." The man wanted nothing to do with the situation, and he told Eric that he had to go pick up his daughter that morning and couldn't help. He then said he told Eric that he'd screwed up by telling him what he had told him. Eric immediately hung up the call. The man went to the police when he saw the reports on the local news. Eric, meanwhile, headed back to Las Vegas. Apparently, he met back up with his dad, and the two took off for parts unknown. They told no one where they were headed, told no one what had happened, and seemed to leave no trail behind them. No debit card transactions, no cell phone pings for their phones, no witnesses calling in to say they had been spotted. They vanished like a pair of ghosts, leaving Jose's wife and daughters behind without any explanation. It would be September 9th before Lesley's body would be found.
The 22-year-old was reported missing August 29th. Today, investigators discovered her body near Valley of Fire.
Members of the Moapa Tribal Police, Red Rock Search and Rescue, and investigators from the Las Vegas Metro Police Department discovered Lesley's remains in the Moapa Valley near the Valley of Fire State Park, roughly 60 miles from Las Vegas. The location was a few miles east of Interstate 15 on the Valley of Fire Highway, about 2,500 feet down a dirt road. Her remains were hidden behind a bush located in a wash. Investigators would later tell a grand jury that the body had suffered terribly from the heat, turning black over the intervening days. In addition, it had suffered considerable damage from insects. Identification was initially made by matching the clothes that Lesley was seen wearing in the date-night videos, a striped top and blue jeans, to what was found on or near the corpse. Lesley's body was found without pants, and her underwear had not been put on correctly, according to the detective who was part of the recovery team and who had attended the autopsy. Her thong-style underwear had been put back on her as if the thong portion had been the waistband on the underwear. Her pants were found nearby in another bush. The body was taken to the state laboratory for testing and an autopsy to confirm the cause of death. Due to the ravages of the desert and the high temperatures, coroners were unable to determine the exact cause of death. The day after her body was found, Lesley's family, friends, and members of the community gathered for a memorial service for the young woman. It was a heartbreaking end to any hopes that she may have been found alive. As for Eric and Jose, they were gone, effectively disappearing. There were no reports about them being seen anywhere. Then, on January 19th, 2021, just over 3 months later, Jose Ronell turned himself in at the U.S.-Mexico border crossing. Officials from the Santa Cedra Border Patrol Station near San Diego, California, arrested him immediately and contacted the authorities in Las Vegas. Jose would waive his Miranda rights and would waive any extradition fight. He wanted to come home to his family. All he could say about Eric was that the two had split up in Mexico and he hadn't heard from him in months. Investigators said that Jose was cooperative from the very beginning of their interviews, but originally gave a story that was watered down to lessen his involvement in the case. Once confronted by the security camera videos, he recanted his original story and opened up more to the officers. Jose said that he had been up early that morning and had been working in the home's garage. He had plans to take his wife to a church event in a couple of hours and was taking care of some things when he heard Eric and Lesley enter the house and stumble up the stairs. He said that a half an hour later, Eric came down the stairs shirtless, dragging Lesley's body behind him on a bedsheet. Jose said Eric told him that she had overdosed and died. Eric then completely lost his senses and started telling his father that they had to do something with the body. Jose said he immediately helped Eric get the body out of the house so that his wife and daughters would not come downstairs and be involved. He would continue by saying that when he looked at Lesley, he could see no obvious injuries. There's no blood or vomit on her, and she was only partially dressed with no pants, and her panties pulled up awkwardly around the waist. He helped Eric put her into the car and immediately grabbed the water hose and started spraying off the gravel outside. As his son drove away with the body, he told investigators that he had not consciously been attempting to destroy evidence then, but was just stunned and trying to do something. He said he thought Eric was heading to Utah with the intention of destroying the body. Jose went to his other daughter's nearby home to speak with her. Shortly after he arrived, though, he said Eric turned up at that house as well. Jose had not expected to see Eric back that day, and Eric began acting crazy, shouting that he was going to kill himself for Jose and that some people might be coming to kill the family. He said he chose to flee with his son, and the two went back home, gathered all the cash they could, and headed to California. They then crossed the border into Mexico by that evening. During the drive, Eric refused to talk about what had happened, except that Lesley had overdosed on narcotics, and he had way too much to drink that night. In the end, Jose would strike a plea deal and pled guilty to destroying evidence and being an accessory to commit murder, both misdemeanor charges. He spent 205 days in the Clark County Detention Center before coming to trial. He would be sentenced to a total of 2 years in jail for what he had done. The 205 days already served would be counted against that sentence as time served. The charges and light sentencing he received would be decried throughout the community and even within the district attorney's office. Chief Deputy District Attorney John Giordani would tell members of the press that the Nevada legislature needs to do something about this because dumping a young girl's body and treating her like a piece of trash should not be treated as a misdemeanor. And assisting a murderer after he commits such an egregious crime should not be treated as a misdemeanor. Lesley's family would also speak to the press about Jose's sentencing. Do you think he was actually given a light sentence? Jose would later serve an additional 8 months in jail before being released. During his time in jail, he had taken a number of courses mandated by the state that allow offenders to reduce their jail times. His release stirred up bad feelings within the community. He was now a free man. His son, Eric, was still out there, walking free and unpunished for what had happened on that fateful night and the next morning. Reports that he's been seen both in Chihuahua State and Durango State in Mexico, but so far he has managed to avoid the authorities there. Lesley's family continued to make pleas to the community for any information that would put this case to rest and bring Eric to stand before a judge. We may never know the real story of what happened to Lesley Palacios when she entered the home of the Ronald family. Was it an overdose that took her life, or did Eric somehow kill her, as he told his friend? We can only hope that one day justice will catch up to him. If you found this case compelling, don't forget to like the video, comment down below your take on it, and please subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell in order to stay up to date each time we reveal a new shocking case. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes peeled. You never know what's lurking in the shadows.